We're live, sir. We're live. To the
Are we
squad, we're
live?
live.
Are we live? Yeah, we want to make it right. We want to make it the perfect show tonight. So we're running a little behind, but that's all good. Good evening, everybody. Miami Mike, welcome aboard, buddy. Let's have some fun. Revamp. We are now Bets Utopia, the number one location for all things sports betting. I'm Gator Dave, and that's Miami Mike. We're here to have a little bit of fun. Look at the big four leagues. Used to be big fives. Now we're looking at the four. Last week we did the ACC. This week we are looking at the Big Ten and see where things stand as we move along. So let's have a little fun. Hopefully get a little chatter in the chat over there. We got Mr. Crawford rolling already. Don't forget, live shows are Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. Remember to like, subscribe, turn on the notifications so we pop up when we roll here. If you're having trouble finding us, all you got to do is Google or jump onto YouTube and hit Bet Utopia Sports Betting, and boom, there we are. So we ready to roll this thing, Mike? What do you think? What do you think?
We're ready to roll, man. We're ready to roll.
All right. So we are doing the infamous Big Ten. No more Big Ten. There are 18 teams now in the Big Ten. We've got what do we got? Four newbies that came over from the West Coast to
That way.
the Big Ten, right? So we got some new teams out there. So let's rock and roll. You want me to start it off, Mike, with the first three?
Absolutely, you got it.
All right, so we're starting with 18 at the bottom of the Big Ten, and I am going with the Purdue Boilermakers. I am projecting a 2-10 record this year. They got 10 returning players from a team that was 4-8 last year, and remember, this league's going to be quite a bit tougher now that we've brought in the left coast teams. They do have quarterback Hudson Card. He ranks 6 out of 18 in the Big Ten, which is not too shabby for Purdue. They did lose star receiver DeAndre Banks and Big Ten sack leader Nick Scorton to the portal. So, like their best receiver and their best defensive player, bye-bye, not to mention a few other players from a team that was not too good last year. Strength of schedule, seventh. Number 7. So they've got a tough schedule out there, guys. I am saying 2 wins, rough year for Purdue. At number 17, I have the Illinois Fighting Illini at 4-8. They returned 10 starters from a team that went 5-7 last year. They have quarterback Luke Altmaier, who he comes in at 12 out of 18 in the conference. I think the offense is going to be respectable, but the defense is not going to be able to hold a candle at all. So they're going to run into some issues. Strength of schedule, 25th in the nation, which is pretty tough. It's another rough year for the Fighting Illini, Mike. I'm going 4 wins, coming in at 17 in the Big Ten. Number 16, I have the Indiana Hoosiers also coming in at 4-8. They're returning 12 starters from a team that went 3-9 last year, so I think they're gonna win one more game. Quarterback Curtis Roki comes in 16 out of 18. Strength of schedule 62, so they really got a pretty good road there with the schedule, but not a good quarterback at all. They bring in Coach Kurt Signetti, comes in from James Madison, who had all the highlights last year. He brought several players with him from a team that won 11 wins last year. So this should net them one more and get them 4 wins. So I got 4-8 for Indiana Hoosiers, Mike. What say you on the bottom 3 in the Big Ten?
Yeah. So I'm kind of right there with you a little bit. So I'm looking at Illinois at 2-10. So I think they're gonna do a little bit worse than what you got them at. It's gonna be interesting to see what Illinois does with Brett Bielema. So that's gonna if that happens, if either one of us are right, that's gonna be their third losing season in four seasons. So are they gonna let him go? He's had some times there. He's had some runs where Illinois has looked good, but he hasn't really been able to get it done yet, other than in 2022 when they went 8-5. Next, I got what is that? Indiana and Rutgers both at 4-8. They unfortunately are getting the short end of the stick a little bit in the scheduling, and they are facing some dogs. Rutgers is going to have to make some traveling moves cross country, 2,500 plus miles. Indiana is facing some not great opponents. Indiana, though, you mentioned to me earlier, and we threw it up there on the ticker at the bottom. You can check that out. James Madison, head coach, is the new guy there at Indiana. So look for them to definitely build on something, do something here in the future. Dave, you want the next three? Go
All
up from
right.
there.
So we're going to go at number 15. And I have the Michigan State Spartans coming in at 5-7. Returning 11 from a team that went 4-8 last year. So they'll think they can get one more. They got QB Aiden Childs. He ranks 7 out of 18 in the Big Ten, which isn't too bad. Michigan State brought in the head coach from Oregon State from the whole debacle on the West Coast, right? Jonathan Smith comes in from Oregon State, and obviously he brings in Aiden Childs with him. They lost a ton on the defensive side of the ball, so I foresee that being an issue for them this year. They might have a little bit of offense that'll get them that one more game, but it's going to be a rough road to hoe. Strength of schedule at 33, so give me 5 wins for Michigan State, but on the upside. At number 14, I've got UCLA Bruins at 5-7 as well. They're returning 12 from a team that went 8-5 last year in the Pac-12. They sent their head coach to be the OC at Ohio State, and obviously we'll talk about a little bit more about that in a minute. Their quarterback Ethan Garbers ranks 8 out of 18 in the league. The Bruins, they've got some interesting games. So one week they fly to Hawaii, and the next week they fly to Rutgers, to give you an idea of how that schedule is going to work out. So it's definitely going to be interesting. They have road games at LSU, at Penn State, at Nebraska. Going to be a tough year for UCLA and a new coach. Strength of schedule 16th in the nation, which is pretty tough. Thus, all the losses that I expect them to have, which I expect 7. I think the Bruins are only going to win 5 games this year, Mike. I know that's lower than most project, but I think it's going to be a rough year for UCLA. Next, I've got number 13. I've got the Minnesota Golden Gophers. So I got them at 5-7 as well. They're returning 13 starters from a team that went 6-7 last year. Quarterback Max Brosmer ranked 14 out of 18 in the Big Ten, which ain't too good. Strength of schedule about average, number 41st in the NCAA. So Brosmer comes in from that powerhouse of New Hampshire, Mike. Repeat, New Hampshire powerhouse. Could be interesting. They do have a very good receiving core, however, so that's the one caveat to this Minnesota team. I'm going with 5 wins for Minnesota, Mike. So not too hot. So I'll turn it back to you.
Yeah, I definitely see where you're coming from. And I got two of your three on mine. So right below those two, though, I got Northwestern, 5-7. New head coach, first year in their brand new stadium. They invested in the new one. It's right there on the water. It's supposed to be spectacular. Um, the ticket prices, I remember looking at ticket prices months ago, and I think the cheapest is to get in, and I think they're playing Miami of Ohio to open for their first game at home. It's like $300 just to get in the thing, because it's the brand new stadium. It's the best one that they've ever had. So the house that Fitzgerald built. Um, I got them at 5-7. I think they're gonna just fall short of getting bowl eligible in that coach's second year, first year of the stadium, but definitely on the rise for sure. Next up, I got UCLA at 5-7 as well. To touch on what you said about UCLA's travel, right? Over 25,000 total miles is what they're going to be doing in their debut Big Ten season. That is nuts. That is insane. What are we doing?
Wow.
What are we
Wow.
doing? Um, and
We're
then
screwing up.
just above them, but still same record, 5-7. I got Michigan State, just like you. The problem with I think Michigan State's going to find some success early on in the season. First couple weeks, they play some cupcakes, but once they get going into their conference schedule, this is how they open up. Granted, they play Maryland week 2, right? What is that? Week 5, they open up their conference schedule with Ohio State, Oregon, Iowa, and Michigan, back to back to back to back. There goes their season.
Oh God,
So
they're in trouble.
yeah, so as long as they can keep it together, they have a shot to win their back four on the back end. But I mean, it could get ugly for Michigan State. So I hope not. I hope they kind of make that turn. Like you mentioned, former head coach from Oregon State. He seems like he knows what to do to get a program back. So we'll see what he can do. Back to you, sir, for your next three.
All right, we're at number 12 for Gator Dave here. We are going, much to my dismay, we're going Wisconsin Badgers at 6-6. I know that's going to upset a number of my friends that are Wisconsin fans. We have some faithful here on the show that are big Wisconsin fans, and I know you're the QB fan here. So I've got Wisconsin Badgers at 6-6, Mike. They're returning 10 from a team that went 7-6 last year. So I guess it'd be like same deal. They win their bowl game, be about the same. They bring in the Rocket QB from Miami, Tyler Van Dyke. They don't think a lot of him. The soothsayers have him 10 out of 18 in the Big Ten. So strength of schedule
Lower.
18, which is pretty tough in the country. 18th in the country, which is going to be more issue for the Badgers. The savior, he has arrived from Miami though.
The Savior.
Yeah, I'm sure he will lead them to the promised land, Mike. I mean, that's your
Wow.
boy. Um,
Let me
it's
write
it's
that
not
down.
gonna
Savior.
it's not gonna be easy. It's not gonna be easy
That's a
year
Gator
for
Dave quote.
Wisconsin. Not gonna be easy year for Wisconsin. That's why I got them at 6-6. They lost their quarterback. They lost their running back, Braylon Allen, who's now a New York Jet. And they've got an interesting quarterback in there, so it's going to be a rough year. Give me 6 wins for them Wisconsin Badgers. Wisconsin. All right.
Hey,
Next up,
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin. I'm going.
Minnesota.
Number Minnesota and Wisconsin. So we're going number 11. I've got Maryland Terps at 7-5. They returned 12 starters from a team that went 8-5 last year. Quarterback, not real sure. Billy Edwards, MJ Morris, Billy Edwards, MJ Morris. Well, the experts have that duo ranked 17 out of 18 in the conference, so not too good. Strength of schedule at 51, so that's on their side, which is a a little bit easier schedule. They did lose their quarterback Tua Tagovailoa. And no, not excuse me, not Tua. What's
His brother.
his bro. Yeah.
Just
The other
go with his
Tagovailoa.
bro.
The
There you
other
go.
Tagovailoa. And they did lose their entire offensive line. And I've got Ua Tagovailoa. His name wasn't Ua, was it? I got a misspelling here. It's not right, is it?
I don't think
Is
so.
his name Ua?
I think it's no.
What is it? Do you know? Okay, all right. So they've lost that quarterback. And
Ty? Is it Ty?
Taya? I don't know. What do we got? Scott
Shit,
Crawford's the only one on the line. We got three others watching.
Somebody get in the chat.
Somebody tell us what is
Hey,
Tagovailoa?
hey, get in the chat. Let us know what you think. Come on.
Guys.
Google
So,
something. Come on.
Yeah, come on, give us a hand. Give us a hand there. But it's gonna be a rough year for Maryland. I mean, they had a decent year last year, but offense is gonna be an issue. Terps win 7, so let's move along. Right, I go on one more, right, Miguel? I go to number 10, which is Rutgers Scarlet Knights. I think a little bit more of Rutgers than you do. So I have them at number 10 at 7-5. So they're returning 15 from a team that went 7-6 last year. And I know they're bringing in the West Coast folks. Their quarterback, not too good. He ranked 15 out of 18. Kalia Kamenis, something to that effect, is the quarterback's last name. Anthon Kalia Kamenis. All right. 15 out of 18, which isn't too hot. Now, however, their strength of schedule is 63rd, which is, if you look at the bottom, easiest in the Big Ten. So they've got an easy schedule. So thus, Mike, I think my 7-5 measures up a little bit better than where you were, but that's okay. They bring back 8 from the defense that held opponents to 23 points per game. So I think that D is going to be pretty good. I question that offense, so give me 7 wins for Rutgers Scarlet Knights. You're up, buddy.
Yeah, I'm pretty. My stuff's pretty similar. I got Maryland at 6-6, so I think they're gonna do a little bit worse than what you got them for just one game. Minnesota, I got at 6-6. I got them getting bowl eligible, sneaking in there. Something to note of Minnesota: they have not won back-to-back away games since 2022. Haven't won in any of them.
Wow.
Just
That's the
fact.
Fleckmaster, right? That's the PJ Fleckmaster.
So the game that lines up for this year
Yes.
is at Rutgers. November 9th. And Rutgers will be off a bye. So actually, I may be 5-7 because I had them beating Rutgers. I don't know why I didn't take this stat into consideration before doing so. So I may have them. See, this is it's similar to the ACC one. We had a similar situation at ACC. I can admit when I'm wrong. You know.
I like it. I like it. That's right. That's what we're a team, Mike. We're a team here on Bets Utopia. You know, we're here for the fans. We're here for the betting public.
We're here to get it right. We're here to
give them good information. We start picking games. Boom! It's going to be the bomb. But go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, and that's also why you want to watch us, because not necessarily the graphic that you see at the end is what we've actually chosen to go with through our diverse discussion.
Exactly. Because we can change. We can roll with the flow, Mike. That's okay.
And then to wrap up my 3 here, I had Wisconsin at 6-6. I think they're going to sneak in and get bowl eligible. Tyler Van Dyke will do enough in some games to win them some games, like 3 or 4, but in the big games, We'll see. We'll see. Like that Iowa defense. That's still doesn't
Oh,
matter who's it's going to be a 10-6
yeah.
game. I'm telling you. I'm telling you right now. Back to you, Dave, for your next three. We are
Yeah,
what is
so
that? We're halfway through. We got
we're at
9 to
nine.
go.
We're at nines. Yeah, we're at the nine.
We're at 9 to
So
go.
so we were straight up on Wisconsin there, Mike. We're both at 6-6. So
Oh, were you?
interesting.
I thought you were 5-7.
Nope. Remember I told you. I said
Oh,
the
you
change
did.
six to
That's on me.
six. See,
That's on me.
see,
That's on
see
me.
there, see there.
That's on me.
It's
You're right. You did. You
you
did
know
say that. I can
we're
confirm
right
that for the
there, and
people. I can
I don't
confirm
get
that
to
for the people.
and I don't get to see your picks. That's what the people should know, that I don't get to
That doesn't
see
matter.
your picks at all.
I don't.
You see mine,
I didn't look at yours at
but
all. I don't look at yours
but
until I put them into the graphic because I
I
don't
know.
want any. I don't want any unnecessary potential bias that goes into my
Okay,
noggin.
okay.
All
No
right.
fodder. No fodder.
That's
Okay.
right.
All right. Okay. All right. So here we go. We're starting at 9. We're at 9 now. Making good time here. So I have Northwestern Wildcats at 9. I know you had them way down, right? Didn't you have them
Yeah,
down, or were
way
you?
down.
Yeah. So
Five and
I've
seven is
got,
where I had them.
yeah, I've got 7-5 here. So here's my deal, Mike. So they did well last year. It was a lot of rah rah, right?
Not a rah rah.
But they are returning 15 from a team that went 8-5 last year. So I think a lot of that. Big problem here, Mike, is QB. QB Mike Wright. He is 18 out of 18. So that could be a little bit of a problem. I might have overshot a little. Strength of schedule, about average 30th in the nation. They bring back 8 starters from a strong defense, so that's going to help them in 2024. So, we'll see. I got the Wildcats salvaging 7 wins this year. So we shall move on to number 8, Mike, and a new visitor to the Big Ten. And I don't know. I don't know about this one. I got Washington Huskies at 7-5, and I know everyone's got them way up there, but I'm telling you, Mike, this one could go. I think this could get a little sideways, especially if Rodgers doesn't perform. So, but I've got them at 7-5. They're only returning 3 from a team that went 14-1 last year. Now, they did pick up a lot of transfers. They got Will Rogers, obviously a big pickup. He's the 4th-ranked quarterback out of 18, which that's big. You've got that plus on the offensive side of the ball. Strength of schedule 26, with it's a little bit tougher than average for the conference. They got their new quarterback and my boy Jed Fish from originally a Florida guy, was at Arizona last year.
And a Hurricane.
Where'd he go to school?
It's his job history is not exclusive. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
That's all I wanted
He
to make
probably
clear to the people.
did a fly in there. Yeah, whatever. So, so from a quarterback experience, I mean, Will Rogers is good, but the team was gutted from last year. I think the offensive line's not in a good spot. A lot of newbies. It's a bit of turmoil. So Rodgers could be running for his life, but he's used to that down there at Mississippi State. This one could be interesting. So, but I'm gonna go with 7-5 and 7 wins for the Washington Huskies. Next up at number 7, I have the Nebraska Cornhuskers at 8-4. Yep. So we've got our guy. Is this his 3rd year?
Who, Rule?
Yeah.
It's his 2nd.
It's only his 2nd. Are you sure about that? Can we get a check on that? Crickets.
Second year.
2nd year. So
yeah, we got no help. No help in the chat.
I know we're getting no help. I know we're on the rerun here. So, He's returning 17 starters from a team that went 5-7 last year. They had a rough year, but a lot of close games. They are bringing in now. This is the true savior, quarterback Dylan Raiola, who was committed to Georgia, now committed to his family's alma mater in Nebraska. But the experts only have him ranked 13 out of 18, obviously because he's a freshman. You starting a true damn freshman in big boy league, he's going to go through some trials and tribulations. Yeah. The next stat is telling. Strength of schedule, 57th, easy as pie, cakewalk in the conference, in my opinion. They only play one top 20 team, Mike, and that's Ohio State. The only next toughest team they play is USC. So they have one of the most favorable schedules. It's not as favorable as the Miami Hurricanes, but it is pretty favorable.
You know what makes our schedule so favorable, Dave, is that opening week 1 game against the Gators. I think that's why it's such a favorable schedule, because we start off with such an easy win, Mike, at the beginning of the year, that we're able to carry our momentum.
Let's do it.
Away from you, that
money
away
where the mouth is.
Money to the championship. Something the Gators that just aren't going to see this year. Not through a bowl game, not through a conference championship.
Who's got the toughest schedule in the country, Mike? Again, we agree on that one.
Hey, you're right. You got the toughest schedule in the country. Let me know how you feel about it in February when that record comes rolling around. You know what? Let's throw it up now, Dave. Let's throw it up now. I'm just going to throw it up now. In the pre-show, all right, me and Gator Dave made a friendly wager for the year. Okay? There it is. This will also be reposted in the SEC show.
Yes, it will. By the time we get to week 1, we will have the bet laid out.
Stop making this about Florida,
Miami game.
Stop it.
What?
You're being
we're only talking
selfish.
about the 87th schedule in the nation. So the only tough team we got is Florida and Florida State, dudes. Come on. All right, so let's move on here.
It's hearsay.
Let's move on here. So we're talking about Nebraska Cornhuskers, and we're talking about the fact that they had an easy schedule, harder than Miami, but their defense, one of the best in the Big Ten last year, it's going to carry them, but they're still starting a freshman quarterback. I'm giving them 8 wins, which, not sure where. The one thing I didn't look at was where the soothsayers picked the teams in terms of what their records were. I'd be interested to go back when we finish this and see what the over-under is on these, because I didn't even look at them. It was one thing, I usually look at all these damn stats, never looked at over and under. But shall we move on? Oh, no. 9, 8, 7, your turn.
Quick math, Dave. I love it. Sharp as a tack. All right, so my 3, I'm just going to throw them up there. We got Purdue. Your Boilermakers, Dave. How could you have them so low on your list after what Purdue has done for you?
Yes, they have.
Mind-boggling. Mind-boggling stuff, Dave. That's all I'm saying. Mind-boggling. One word. What?
What do you have them?
7-5.
7-5. And Gator Dave. Oh my God.
Bowling.
So
bowling.
Before the show's over, we got to make another side bet on this one. I've got 2 and 10.
No, thank you.
7-5. We've got to do a side bet here, Mike.
No, we don't. All right, moving on. So after I did the graphic, I think it's probably more like 6-6 rather than 7-5. To be fair, all right.
Still, though, I'm 2 and whatever.
It's
all right. Go ahead, Mike.
All right, so over 2.5. Is that what you have him as? There's no way. There's no way you have him with that.
No, I would definitely meet you halfway. We got to meet halfway. I mean, if you're saying 6 wins, then I'm saying 2 wins. That number's 4, right?
I think I gotta adjust the graphic. I think I got your records wrong on the right. I think some of them are wrong. I don't know.
Okay.
I could be wrong. You may have to clarify a few of them because
Yeah,
it ain't
you got
happening.
Purdue.
Yeah, don't look. Hey,
Okay. That's the only one you got wrong, brother.
all right, cool. Don't look too hard at it. All right.
Yeah.
So what do you have them as? Because Illinois, you had it what? 4-8, right? See, I had that one wrong too.
So I
See,
have Purdue at 2 and
I gotta do
10,
better.
Illinois at 4 and 8.
My production skills, they need work. All right.
That's all right.
Next above
It's no
Purdue,
problem.
I got Nebraska. All right, 8 and 4. I'm with you, Dylan.
Yeah.
Dylan Raiola, the former 5-star Georgia commit, expected to start. So the thing about Nebraska, you mentioned how weak their schedule was, right? They have a chance to be 7-0.
I know.
When they play Ohio State on October 26th. They could be 7-0.
And then it's like after that.
And then it's downhill from there. They play Ohio State, UCLA, USC, Wisconsin, Iowa. You acted like those were cakewalks. Those were cakewalks, brother. They're going to give them a lot. Maybe not UCLA, but the rest of the teams, they're going to give them, they're going to give them a game. All right. Michigan, I have it 8 and 4. I think they're going to take a step back. No Harbaugh. They lost half their team. Yeah, I think it's 8 and 4. I'm going to tell you the losses too because you look shocked. You look appalled. All right. Texas in week 2 at home, they're going to lose. At home, week 4, they're going to lose against USC. USC's coming off a bye, and they're going to catch them slipping. All right.
No, we got one.
All right. Maybe not. Maybe, but maybe not. That one was the one that I was like, they could be 9 and 3, they could be 8 and 4. So I'm gonna give you that one. They're gonna lose at home to Oregon later on in the year, and then they're gonna lose at Ohio State. I think Ohio State finally gets it done at the end of the year. I think Ohio State finally gets it done against them. So those are my three.
Yeah. Texas. Oh, snap. I had. All right, I'm sticking to my guns. Go ahead.
All right, it's back to you, sir.
I'm liking your theory there.
We're down to top 6. Down to top 6.
Could change everything. All right, top 6. Here we go. Number 6. I got our friends from the left coast. I've got the USC Trojans at 8 and 4, returning 7 from a team that went 8 and 5 last year in the Pac-12. However, we know how they roll on the portal. So they got quarterback Miller Moss, who looked good in the bowl game, right? They're ranking him 5 out of 18, so they're thinking a lot of him. But it's the quarterback whisperer, right? So he's going to be ranked 5th. Strength of schedule. Here's where the issue is. And the reason they're going to lose 4 games is strength of schedule 8th in the land, not 8 in the freaking conference, 8 in the land. So they got a tough schedule. They shit canned our boy Alex Greenwich out of the picture. Now they have Deonton Lynn, the coordinator who led UCLA's defense to be number 10 in the nation. So that was a steal, Chippy boy left and kind of, let it go. And Riley jumped on the UCLA defensive coordinator, which is a great move for them. So that's going to help them. It's not going to be enough for the schedule they've got. We'll see if Riley can work his magic on Miller Moss. But give me USC and 8 wins. Next up. So this is my next very interesting, just like I did the ACC. Interesting numbers here, and now you've kind of thrown me a little bit on that one. But so I've got number 5. I've got Iowa Hawkeyes most people are going to be surprised that I say 10-2. They're returning 18 starters from a team that went 10-4 last year. QBK McNamara's back from his injury, but they're only ranking him 11 out of 18, so they don't think much of him. Strength of schedule 55, which is pretty easy. So easy peasy for them Iowa Hawkeyes. Defense, we know, is going to be stout, right? They're returning 8 starters. The big question, obviously, can they score points? So they brought in Tim Lester, who was the head coach for Western Michigan, to, take over for, Francis' son and get that offense rolling. And the thought between Lester and McNamara, they get it moving along. But my projection here, and I'm going to talk about who they lose to on these last number of teams. My projection is Iowa loses to Ohio State and Washington. Remember, I said they had an easy schedule. They don't play anybody else worth a shit. So they lose to Ohio State and Washington. That's how the Hawkeyes win 10 games. Okay? So next, to much to my chagrin, I've got Michigan at 10-2. They only returned 5 starters from a team that won it all last year, 15-0. And by the way, Mike, should I remind you who projected the national champion last year when we were doing our shows? I can't remember. Oh, Gator Dave projected Michigan Wolverines to win it all last year.
Who did I have?
Don't remember, but it wasn't Michigan.
I think it was Alabama.
Probably. So here's where we start digging in. So
I'll have to go back and look at that. I should pull that up.
Up. You should. It's easy to go back and look at our videos, bro. Are you going to go to the end, look at our video? Boom, there it is. All right.
See, you can't say that. You can't say that, Dave. Now you just gave people the sauce. They got to listen to us. Remember, you can't just go to the end.
But I'm talking about they can go back and look at last year.
Dave,
last year.
Jeez.
Last year. All right. So
you blew it, dude. You blew it.
I know it. So quarterback situation in Michigan. Some dude named Alex Orji ranks 9 out of 18. Orji, O-R-J-I. 9 out of 18 in the conference, what soothsayers say. There are a couple other quarterbacks on this roster. Tuttle, David Warren. We'll see how they do. But right now, everyone's saying Alex is going to be the guy. Straight to schedule, not that easy. 17th in the land. Now, here's where I'm going to throw in some more interesting tidbits of information. Michigan Wolverines. Blue chip ratio. I'm only going to talk about these in the top teams, and I forgot to do it. Oh, that's because there's not any in the ACC. I'm sorry. The blue chip ratio, I did talk about last week. Blue chip ratio for Michigan Wolverines, 54% are either 5 or 4 stars. I am projecting their losses. Remember I said 10-2. Their losses to Texas and Oklahoma and Ohio State. I'm sorry. Texas and Ohio State is where I've got it. So I got Big Blue winning 10 games, on the cusp of getting into the 12-team playoff. Cusp. Don't know until I put everything together in the next couple of weeks, but on the cusp. Mike, your 3.
My 3 are USC, Washington, Iowa. So I got USC at 9-3. You mentioned Miller Moss at QB. The reason he's ranked that high is because he had 6 touchdowns in the bowl game in his first thing. So people are going nuts. I mean, that offense is not going to take any steps back with him. It's going to be typical Lincoln Riley offense like he does year in and year out. Something to note that, like you said, they have 9 starters returning on defense. They got the top tackler from Oregon State to transfer in, linebacker. So that defense is going to be ready. Like you said, they fired the DC. So I think it's I think USC is going to come to play this year. The problem is they got a pretty tough schedule. They didn't really get any favors in that one, so that's why I got them at 9-3. Could easily be 10-2. They could make the playoff. They have that ability this year. 9-3, Washington right above them, and the only reason I have them there is because I actually have them beating USC in a tiebreaker during the year. I love Jed Fish. Jed Fish is great. He is an offensive guru. He knows how to get the best out of the guys that he has, and he doesn't try to force his style onto his players. He adapts. Great coach. Amazing hire by Washington. I think it's going to pay dividends for them in the future. Unfortunately, this year, they are going to catch some L's. They got Michigan at home. I got them losing to them. They got to go at Penn State in November, and then they got at Oregon to end the season. So that's why those are the 3 losses that I have for them. Other than that, I think Washington sort of keeps that momentum and keeps it going. And they lost a lot of pieces this year. A lot of pieces.
Yeah.
Iowa, I got it 10-2. All they do is win. They just find a way. The game might be 3-2. The game might be 10-7. They find a way to win. Something to note, like you said, offense completely changed. McNamara is back. The OC is gone. Kirk Ferentz finally fired his son. He had a goal set for him. If he didn't get it, it was fired. He wasn't even close to setting that goal. So he's gone. New offensive coordinator in. Something to note of Kirk Ferentz. So I think a lot of people, based off of how the season is going to start for Iowa, there's going to be a game at Ohio State that Iowa is going to be coming off a bye, and they're going to go to Columbus. Do not fall for this. Ohio State is going to blow the brakes off of Iowa in that game. Something to note about Kirk Ferentz, he is 21-21 off a bye week in all of his time at Iowa. Furthermore, against top 25 teams, 31-53. They don't get it done in the big games because they can't score. But they do have a great defense. I think if they will find a way to get 10 wins, but there's going to be a couple that they stumble in for sure. So those are my 3. Gator Dave, your top 3 teams of the
All right,
conference.
we need to call out Public House dropped on here, so he's in the mix here, listening up.
What's
So
up, brother?
my dude. All right, so
Okay.
here we go. The 3 in the Big Ten, the new and retooled Big Ten. All right, here's what we got. Number 3, I have the Penn State Nittany Lions at 10-2. So here's the deal. They returned 15 from a team that went 10-3 last year. QB Drew Aller, he ranks number 2 out of 18. I think a lot of that is they think dude's got to step up. He's got to freaking win the big game. He's got to freaking make it happen. Schedule strength is at 49, which is a bit on the positive side for them, because you've heard where we were with the others. I mean, it's down in that group. They bring back a Heisman candidate running back, K'Ron Allen. Blue chip ratio of 48%, which is nice. I am projecting them to lose to Ohio State and USC. And I think with their 10 wins that they can make the playoff. But we'll talk more about that in the coming weeks. Okay? But I still got them at 3rd. All right, let's talk about the big 2 here. Most, I guarantee you, and you mark this one down because I'm feeling stronger and stronger about this, and I don't know where you are yet.
That old fashioned is kicking in, baby. I hear you.
It's kicking in, baby. It's kicking in.
All right.
So we are at it. We are making it happen, and we're putting some energy in this show, Mike. So, last two. Number 2, the Ohio State Buckeyes, 11-1, returning 14 from a team last year that went 11-2. They got the QB Will Howard coming in from K-State, who's projected number 3 out of 18 in the Big Ten. But that's, remember, he was in the Big 12. He wasn't in the Big Ten. Strength of schedule 32, which about average for the conference. Here's where they kick ass. The number 1 backfield in the nation, Travion Henderson and Quayshawn Junkins from Ole Miss. There ain't a better tandem in college football in a long time. Ohio State's blue chip ratio is sitting at 69%. So 69% of their boys are 4 stars and 5 stars. But can Will Howard do it in the Big 12? Buckeyes lose to Oregon on the road. Buckeyes win 11, but they're number 2. Number 1, Oregon Ducks. And I am calling this one right here, right now. You guys need to listen up. Everybody's on the Ohio State bandwagon, but it's the Oregon Ducks, folks. 11-1, returning 10 from a team that went 12-2 last year with 2 losses, both losses to Washington. Okay, they bring in quarterback Dylan Gabriel, who I like much better than our freaking boy from Auburn. Okay, granted, he's been at UCF in Oklahoma, but he ranks number 1 by the experts in the conference. Strength of schedule 29, along the same lines as Ohio State. Here's an interesting fact. The Ducks blue chip ratio, 70%. It's right there with Ohio State. The Ducks offense posted 531 yards, scored 44 points a game a year ago. Nation's best receiving core they grabbed Gabriel. I think they're going to make it happen in the Big Ten against those defenses up there. Oregon, here's what I put it here, Mike. Oregon loses to Michigan at Michigan. That's their only loss. They win the Big Ten. They have the number 1 seed going to the Big Ten championship, and the Ducks win 11. So, and you guys can shake your heads. You guys can listen to Miami Mike, but you really need to listen to Gator Dave here. Put the money on Ohio State here. Go ahead, Mike. Give us your last 3 there, my friend.
Well, we got the same 3, same order. I got Penn State.
Oh, you're shaking your head and you're giving me shit.
I got Penn State.
And you got Oregon too.
I got Penn State at 10-2. I just don't think they're going to be able to get it done. Same old James Franklin, same old Penn State. They're just not going to be able to get it done in the big game that matters.
Now, Mike, they can get in the 12-team playoff.
They can. Although, no. So at 10-2, they will get in. They should get in. It'll probably be 11. It's got to be 10 or 11, really. But they'll probably get in at 10-2. They have a super favorable schedule. The games that I think they're going to lose are Ohio State, like you mentioned, and USC. I actually teetered back and forth with them. I think Penn State will end up getting it done against USC. Hot take, all right? Week 1 against West Virginia. Upset alert. You heard it here first. Hey,
we'll see.
Come back and see me. Come back and see me.
We'll have a few weeks before we
come back and see me. The Mountaineers getting it done.
All right, we'll see.
Getting it done. All right. Ohio State, I got it 11-1. I think Oregon is going to be their only loss. Again, super favorable schedule. Best team overall in the nation from in terms of depth, overall talent, top to bottom, I mean, this team is loaded. If they don't win it this year, they're blowing the whole thing up. This is Ryan Day's, figuratively, this is Ryan Day's last shot. He's got to win the big game, including against Michigan. He's got to get it done. He's got to get it done. I think, unfortunately, they're going to lose against Oregon. I think he gets it done against Michigan to get them into the conference championship and the playoff.
Yeah.
We'll see. Oregon, I'm with you. 12-0 is where I have them. They, again, have a super favorable schedule. They got some of the big names coming to them in the conference this year. I think that they are going to shock some people. I think they've sort of been written off because, you know, people sort of forget about them with the whole Pac-12 dissolving and them kind of slipping into the Big Ten in the night like the rest of the Pac-12 teams. I think there's potential there for Oregon to kind of take some people by surprise early on in the season and really make a statement. I think they got the potential for a championship run for sure.
Yeah, and Mike, I'm telling you, 80% of the public thinks it's going to be Ohio State. So I'm so glad that you're on the Ducks bandwagon because I really truly believe that it's going to.
Well, Dylan Gabriel, you know, they're taking Bo Nix, who put up ridiculous numbers last year. I mean, 4,500 yards, 45 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But Dylan Gabriel was pretty close. He had over 30 touchdowns. He had under 10 interceptions. He was hurt. He still had over 3,500 yards on the year. He was hurt for some games for Oklahoma. The dude's got a cannon for an arm. He's accurate. He's smart. He's been in the league what feels like 8 years now. So I think he's really going to step up. And the biggest thing for me in that Oregon offense is Evan Stewart. Evan Stewart at wide receiver is a dog. He is a dog. He will go up and get that ball like nobody's business. And if you have that as an out, over.
We recruited that kid, you know, in the very beginning, you know, when he came, you know.
Miami did too, and then he spurned all of us, and he went to Texas A&M.
And then Texas A&M, he killed it for Texas A&M. And by the way, Mike, we got 6 folks watching. Questions? You guys want to throw something at us? 6 people watching. Give us a yell right now as we kind of wrap things and put it in a bow right here. But I'm happy, Mike, you went with the Ducks because I think that's a good bet right now, and I haven't looked.
You know what's a good bet?
Oh
right
yeah,
there. It's a good bet. It's a good bet. Just wanted to remind you.
Everyone on here will see that and
throw that back at you.
It won't. You know, it'll be interesting. We'll see there, Mike. We'll see there, and can't wait for that first game. So. But let's continue our focus on the Big Ten. So, questions? Anybody have anything for a Big Ten out there right now? So, it's definitely an interesting league. You know, it used to be 2 teams. Now, you know, we got Oregon, we got Ohio State, we got Penn State, we got Michigan, we got Iowa. Now we got USC, Nebraska coming on because of schedule, in my opinion, only, and then we got Washington. So it's definitely a lot more exciting in the Big Ten than what it was in the past, and I think the competition is going to, it's going to have an effect on records as we move through, and as well as, you know, creating, definitely a lot more excitement now that there's not just 2 teams out there, you know, each and every week we can think that there's some competition rolling out there. So very exciting. If you
think about it, so like what you're saying right there, right? When it was still divisions, because that's something else that they removed this year. Was division play because it used to be East-West. You know, Iowa, for example, or like Wisconsin, right? They went from being one of the top 4 teams every year in the Big Ten because of how their division shaped up. You know, they'd be 1 and 2 in their division behind, you know, Ohio State and Michigan on the other side, maybe Penn State thrown in there. Now you have these teams come in, USC, Washington, Oregon, UCLA, who are going to compete for the Big Ten championship. I mean, we just went through the teams. We told you why. That removes, Iowa, Wisconsin from that top 4 slot in my mind. And, they could fall down to, I don't know, 7th, 8th in the conference now, whereas they used to be, this perennial playing for the championship every year, find a 10-win season, top 4, always playing for something, playing in the Orange Bowl. They could very well see some struggles in these next couple years, especially if they're not able to recruit, with these other schools. So that's going to be interesting to see too.
Absolutely, absolutely. Hey, we got keep chopping is like Rutgers at 4-8. What the hell? Well, that would be Mike's note on Rutgers. Keep chopping. I've got them at 7-5, my friend. So a lot more in line.
I'm a Shiano fan.
So,
I'm a Shiano fan. I want them to succeed.
I know you are.
Their schedule is just a little rough. They're gonna do a lot of traveling this year. I don't know if it's gonna do them some favors.
Got them at 7-5.
We'll
I mean, that's a big. Keep chopping. That's got to be a daggum Braves person. You probably know him, Mike. All right, so what's on the agenda? So next week.
Appreciate you watching. I do not know who that is. I don't know. But I appreciate. Right. I appreciate them for tuning in and dropping into the chat.
So make sure you watch the whole thing when you get a second there. Take a look at what we got. So next week,
check out the analysis for Rutgers 4-8. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, make sure you pay attention to Gator Day. So, but that's all right. Next week we're gonna do Big 12. Next week. Pre-recorded message there, Big 12 on Wednesday at 8. And then the following week on August 7th, we're going to do SEC. And then the week of August 14th, we're going to kind of focus on who our top 25 are, who we think are going to be the 12 that make the playoff, who's going to be the Final Four, and who our Heisman candidates are. We'll kind of wrap that up on August 14th, and then obviously on August 21st will be our first big pick'em show. Time to freaking make some money. Mike, go out there and place some bets out there, and I might have to drive down to Florida and place my bets, man. I've been having some luck as of late, Mike. We hadn't talked about that, but so when I make my trips down to Florida and bet with the
subtle wins.
Yes. So anything? We got Skaven. Yes. Nebraska. Yes. So what do we do on Nebraska? Oh yeah. So he must be a Nebraska fan. We both think very highly of Nebraska.
I don't know.
Very
based
highly
off
in
the
Nebraska.
Question mark. I don't know if it is a Nebraska fan.
Nebraska question mark? Yeah.
I think the biggest thing with Nebraska is I think it's their defense. That returning defense, you pointed out, 11th ranked last year in 2023. They bring back a lot of guys to that. They're really just missing some offensive pieces. Matt Rule's got another year under his belt, full recruiting cycle, which was big because, when he was hired by Nebraska, it was really short notice. He was trying to, basically throw something together. And the improvement that I saw in Nebraska last year from the beginning of the year to the end of the year, I think Matt Rule is going to be able to carry that over easily. He's brought in tons of talent since then. You're going to see a different Nebraska. They're going to shock some folks.
If you go back and look at his record and how he's done, his second and third year is freaking lights out. So it's going to make a big difference. And I'm telling you, him having that easy peasy schedule is going to help dramatically. And that's going to help him build up some recruiting as well. Granted, I don't know if they'll ever can get to double-digit wins, at Nebraska like the days of old, Mike, when you were in diapers. But, but he's going to make it happen. So it's definitely going to be an exciting year for the Cornhuskers. And I do want to say appreciate the folks that have jumped on. Oh, big fan of Billy Napier this year. He's got much hate, and I think he overperforms. And that's a guy I like.
Who did you?
See there, Mike? See, keep
what
chopping.
Did you just send him a? You just send him a Cash App or something? What's going on?
I haven't done anything.
You just got some.
I haven't done anything.
You just got
keep
some secret intel.
Man. Keep chopping. Come back and see us every Wednesday night, 8 o'clock.
Come back and see us after August 31st. It'll be a great show. It'll be a great show. Best show of the year. Guaranteed. Best show of the year after August 31st. You can't miss it. You can't miss it. Guaranteed. It's going to be great. It's going to be great.
Blah, 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 blah. Hey,
Billy Napier
it was nice getting a few folks rolling in here at the end. We appreciate it very much, and we look.
I want to know how much you paid him. I need the receipt.
Huh? You need a receipt.
Send me the invoice for how much you paid him. I need to check this.
I didn't pay him a dime. I mean, keep chopping's the man. That's all I got to say. So he'll keep rolling in here. We'll be good to go, and we'll keep having fun. Another good week. Great picks. Great information, Mike. Look forward to next week and doing what are you doing? Big 12. So
yep, Big 12 on Wednesday,
fun.
8 p.m.
Be fun. Should be fun. Go Gators, Mike.
Peace out. Thanks everybody for watching. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much.